Tomorrow is the official release date for Ubuntu 18.10 Cosmic Cuttlefish and all of its official flavors, including Xubuntu 18.10. Today I'm going to take a look at Xubuntu 18.10 Cosmic Cuttlefish one day early, so officially this daily build that I pulled down is technically a beta, but nothing will change between now and tomorrow. This is very much the official release of Xubuntu 18.10. Let's get started. So Xubuntu 18.10, 18.10 now is not going to be a long-term support release for Xubuntu. It's only going to be supported for 9 months, 18.10. So those that are wanting a LTS release of Xubuntu, something with a much longer support cycle, Xubuntu 18.04 is the release you need to be on. It's supported for 3 years, where 18.10 is only going to be supported for 9 months. If you install Xubuntu 18.10, really, when Xubuntu 19.04 comes out next April, you need to upgrade to that and then to 19.10. You pretty much are on this 6-month cycle where every 6 months you need to update, where if you stick to the LTS releases, then you're good 2 to 3 years usually between upgrades. So there is that to consider. Today I'm going to take a look at 18.10 Xubuntu inside a VM. I'm going to install this inside VirtualBox. Alright, so downloaded the ISO. I'm installing this inside VirtualBox. I gave this VM 2 cores of my 6-core CPU and 4 gigs of RAM. So more than enough CPU and RAM for the Xfce desktop environment, which is the desktop environment Xubuntu uses. Some of you, by the way, often comment on when I do these, take a look at these Xfce distros, that some of y'all have asked how to pronounce Xfce. Apparently, other than just calling it Xfce, some of you prefer to call it Xfce. That's fine. I've heard that particular name for this desktop environment tossed around a few times, Xfce. That's kind of a standard name for it. I always just call it Xfce. I think most people do, but Xfce is perfectly acceptable. Try Xubuntu or install Xubuntu. So this is the Ubiquity installer. They're still using Ubiquity. I don't know when or if Xubuntu is going to move over to the Calamares installer. I know eventually Kubuntu wants to, and Lubuntu definitely wants to. I think Xubuntu, probably all the main flavors of Ubuntu will eventually move away from Ubiquity to Calamares, but for right now, still on the Calamares installer. So I'm going to choose Install Xubuntu. We'll quickly go through the standard install process here. You guys have seen this a million times, the standard install process for Ubuntu and Ubuntu-based distros. Keyboard layout, English US has already been chosen for us. Click Continue. Do I want to download the updates? Might as well. There shouldn't be any updates. If there are, though, I'll download them. Install third-party software for graphics, Wi-Fi, multimedia codecs, and all that. Yes, you need to tick this on. We really need my proprietary graphics drivers. If I was installing this on a laptop, I'd need the Wi-Fi drivers. If I want to watch any kind of video or DVD, Blu-ray, anything like that, I need the multimedia codec. So yes, you need to tick install third-party software. You need to tick that on. Click Continue. And we wait a second. I'm not sure if it's going to try to pull down any updates or install any drivers now or not, but it is hanging a second on this screen. Okay, and installation type, do we want to erase disk and give Xubuntu the entire virtual hard drive that I created? That's what I'm going to do, which is the first option. If I wanted to set up partitions myself manually, I could go down here and click something else and manually set up my partitions, but I'm just going to erase disk and let Xubuntu automatically partition the drive. So install now. It's going to warn me that it's about to format the drive and write to the disk. Click Continue, and it's going to format the hard drive, in this case a virtual hard drive since I'm doing a virtual machine. Right, time zone. It has correctly chosen the central time zone in the US for me, so I'm going to click Continue. We need to set up a username and password. I'm going to call my user DT. I need to create a strong and complicated password for the DT user. Alright, now we have an option. Do we want to log in automatically, or do we want to require a password to log in? I want to be required for a password to log in for privacy reasons. Click Continue, and the installer should start. This portion of the installer should take around 10 minutes. We'll have a little slideshow that goes on while we wait for the install. I'll go ahead and manually cycle through the slides. I'm going to pause the video. I'll be back once the installation has completed. And the installation has completed. That install maybe took 5 minutes. That was a pretty quick install, actually. Alright, we get this little pop-up window that says installation is complete. You need to restart the computer in order to use the new installation. So to complete installation, we have to reboot the machine. You just click Restart Now. That's what I'm going to do right now. Alright, and this is the Xfce desktop environment, Xfce, and Xubuntu 18.10. Cosmic Cuttlefish. Let's see what programs are installed by default in Xubuntu 18.10. So I'm going to quickly go through the menu here. I'm going to resize the menu a little bit. I'm going to go to Accessories. Under Accessories, we have the Catfish file search, the standard file search utility in Xfce. So you could search for anything. Let me search for a program I know, or a file I know exists on the system. Xauthority. Should be somewhere on here. No. How about Xresources? No files searched. I wonder if you have to do some kind of refresh. Yep, update search index. There we go. Unlock. Okay, so it's using the locate command. Basically, this is a front end to the command line tool called locate. So, still not finding an Xresources file. That's weird. Not just Xorg. No, I'm not exactly sure why this is not working. How about bash RC? I know I've got one of those on the system. Yeah, still not working. So there's something going on with the Catfish file search. If I did all of this in the terminal, by the way, like I said, that's just a front end for locate. So locate bash RC. Yeah, that works in the terminal. I'm not sure why Catfish file search does not return those search results for me. Anyway, under Accessories, we also have Character Map. We have the Ngrandpa Archive Manager. This is for zip, unzip, tar-gz, all of that. So Ngrandpa 1.20.1. This is the Archive Manager for the Mate desktop environment. One of the Mate tools. Also under Accessories, we have our File Manager, which is the Thunar File Manager in Xfce. A really nice, fast, lightweight file manager. One of the better file managers we have on Linux, actually. Thunar 1.8.1. A lot of people like to use Thunar with minimal window managers like OpenBox, Fluxbox, i3, that sort of thing. Me, I prefer PCman FM over Thunar because PCman FM is even lighter and even faster, although not quite as full-featured as Thunar. Thunar is very nice. Also under the accessory category, we have fonts. We have the Mate calculator for our calculator. Mate calculator 1.20.2. Also under accessories, we have Mousepad, which is the plain text editor for Xfce. Mousepad 0.4.1. Mousepad is a fast text editor for the Xfce desktop environment. See, I used Xfce just for you guys that have been asking for it. Nobody can say I don't read the comments. I definitely read your guys' comments. And alright, we have our note-taking utility here. We have Onboard, which is the onboard keyboard, our on-screen keyboard. I won't open that because it'll take up most of the screen. It's a pain to close sometimes. We have Global Time, which is a series of clocks. It'll give me a bunch of information about time zones around the world. Anyway, let me close that out. Let me kill all of that. Also under accessories, we have a screenshot utility. We have our terminal emulator, which is the Xfce terminal. Xfce4-terminal is the official name of the program. 0.8.7.4 is the version number. While I have the terminal open, for those that are wondering, the kernel that Xubuntu 18.10 is using. Let's do a uname space -r in the terminal. 4.18.0 is the kernel version. Also under accessories, we have xfburn, which is the disk burning utility for Xfce. Really nice disk burning utility, not bad. Under the education category, we have LibreOffice Math, nothing else. Under games, We have 3 games. We have Mines, Puzzles, and Sudoku. The Mines game is really neat. You have your choice of 8x8, 16x16, 30x16, or set a custom size, the 16x16 grid here. Anyway, this is kind of, I clicked on a mine, I lost. Anyway, the numbers tell you how many mines are bordering the square you're on. Neat little game for those of you that like those kind of puzzle, kind of educational game. It makes you think a little bit. Some of these can be quite challenging to solve. Also, under games, that was it. Mines, puzzles, Sudoku. Graphics, we have our image viewer, which is Ristretto, which is a lightweight, minimal image viewer. I often install Ristretto when I do like my OpenBox installs, Xmonad install, any lightweight window manager. I usually install Ristretto for my image viewer. We have a lot of really nice lightweight image viewers, though. There's a million of them to choose from. Simple Scan is our scan utility. For those of you that still have a need for scanning, Simple Scan 3.30.1.1, simple document scanning tool. And let me close that out. It's not wanting to close. Why? Okay, so that froze for a second, but it finally did close. That was a little weird. But again, this is a virtual machine. Alright, under Internet, Firefox is the default web browser. And let's see what we are on here. Not sure if there are any updates available for me to take, but right now, Firefox is on version 62 in Xubuntu 18.10. Okay, close out all tabs there. Also under Internet, we have Pigeon Internet Messenger for those that still like to do Internet instant messaging. We have Thunderbird for our email client. We have Transmission for our BitTorrent client, which is GNOME's BitTorrent client. Multimedia for a video player, they're using Parole Media Player. Parole 1.0.1, that's an interesting choice. Lightweight video player, but there are better choices out there, in my opinion. I would probably just get rid of Parole and install VLC. VLC is just such a fantastic product. It's the only video player, in my opinion, that's worth using. Alright, Pulse Audio Volume Control is also here. XFburn is also here again under Multimedia. Office. Under Office, we have the Actual Document Viewer for viewing PDFs. We have our dictionary, and then we have the LibreOffice suite. Well, a few of the programs anyway. We have Calc, Math, and Writer. And if Xubuntu 18.10 is something to go off of, then they should be also using LibreOffice 6. One of the recent versions of 6. Yeah, 6.1.2.1. LibreOffice. Fantastic. Really like that Office suite, although we do have some other good Office programs in Linux. I know I often talk about LibreOffice, but I should actually on camera share some of the other ones, like KOffice is not bad. We've got WPS, now that is not free and open source, but it's not a bad product as well. Also under the Office category, we have Calendar and Global Time. Then we have our Settings, which is your standard stuff you would see in settings, like devices and monitor, display, keyboard, network, notifications, power manager, startup, session settings, that sort of thing. We also have a system category. So let me open up the settings manager here. We have a quick launcher for all settings. This opens up our settings manager. And from here we could go to appearance, for example, to change the theme. So let me open up the file manager again. So the Thunar file manager, that way we can see these changes take place. So if I wanted to change from this theme here, the current theme, which is called Graybird, which is really nice. I really like the light silvery borders and the light blue kind of border to the right hand, or excuse me, the left hand pane in the file manager. That's not bad. But if I wanted to change to Adwaita, for example, I could do that. Adwaita Dark is a really nice dark theme if I wanted to go dark. Numix is also installed. Numix is a really nice theme. That's interesting that they included that. But you know what? I'm going to stick with the default. I really like the default Graybird theme. I think that's a nice theme. Icons, they're using the elementary Xfce Darker theme. We could, of course, use the standard Adwaita theme, the standard GNOME icon set, which looks horrible. I don't like that. We also have the humanity icon set, the standard orange Ubuntu icon set. It's not bad if you like orange, if you have a wallpaper or whatnot where the orange icons are appropriate. But I'm going to go back to the default, although I'm not crazy about the default ones, but they're not bad looking. We go back to the settings manager. So I'm going to go back to this quick launcher here. Anything else we want to play around with? Additional drivers. You would click this to install any proprietary drivers, graphic drivers, Wi-Fi drivers. We also have our software updater here. Let's go ahead and see what kind of updates are available right now. Now this is one day before official release, so there will be things that could be updated. There will be some packages updated between now and tomorrow. Now, no major changes are happening. I mean, this is what 18.10 is going to look like tomorrow. But there may be some programs that could be updated. And it's taking a second. Okay, so details of updates. So, actually, Firefox has an update. Ubuntu Base has an update, and that's really not much. The Ubiquity installer, yeah. So, not much there. I'm not going to take the update. Alright, so I'm going to close the settings manager out. I'm going to right click on the desktop. I'm going to go to desktop settings. And from here I want to check out the wallpapers. Now the wallpaper packs in Xubuntu tend to be really nice wallpapers. Of all the Ubuntu flavors, Xubuntu usually has some of the nicest themes, the nicest wallpapers. So I'm just going to quickly cycle through some of these wallpapers. Now since I'm using a lighter window theme, I probably want to use like a darker wallpaper. Like that really makes sense with these light silvery windows. That is not a bad theme. That's a really nice wallpaper, wintry wallpaper, but I would probably switch to a dark theme if I was going to use that. Some other pictures here. I really like that. That's an interesting one. Here's one too. Railroad track going off into the mist. Yeah, see, these are really nice pictures. I've seen that one before. That's not a bad wallpaper. You know what? But I want to go with a dark one. I'm going to go with that. Also, here we could change like the menus, some of the menu settings. We could turn off icons on the desktop if we wanted to. Change the size of icons on the desktop. I do not like icons on my desktop, so I have all that turned off. One thing I want to do is open up the software center. So we have a quick launcher here. As soon as you open the menu, you have software here. This, I think, is the GNOME software. Yeah. This is their software center. Let this open up. Okay. And from here, you got quick links to some popular programs you may or may not want to install. Even some non-free software like Skype and Spotify and Discord. These are not free and open source software, but they are available. They are probably available as snaps or maybe even flat packs. No Discord, pretty sure is available as a snap. Yeah, you could sign into the Snap store. You can sign into Ubuntu One. Anyway, one program I want to search for real quick, HTOP. Not sure if it's installed by default on the system. If it's not, I'm going to install it here in the Software Center. Okay, it looks like it's searching the repos. Okay, it is here. Let me click on it. It's not installed, but I'm going to go ahead and click install. Should just take a second. HTOP is not a very big program. And for those that are interested in the Software Center, you get a screenshot, you get a quick little blurb about what this program is. Sometimes you get reviews, people that write their own user reviews of this particular program. Looks like there's no review actually of HTOP. That's interesting since it's such a popular program. Nobody has bothered leaving a review about it. Somebody needs to get on that. One of you guys watching the video, if you're a HTOP user and use Xubuntu and the GNOME Software Center, yeah, leave a review for HTOP. It'll help out people in the future. Anyway, I'm going to close out the Software Center. Now, the reason I did that is now I could search for HTOP. It's here. I want to check out System Resources. So, let it settle down for a second. CPU, single digits, 3%, 4%, 2%. Memory usage, RAM usage, it is using 1 gig of the 4 gigs of RAM. That is very high for Xfce, and I had this problem yesterday taking a look at Xubuntu 18.10. RAM usage was very high, and I'm not sure what is going on with all this RAM. What is using all this RAM? GNOME software actually is using all this RAM. That makes sense. So if I hit, let me go ahead and kill GNOME Software Center. So if I hit F9 and get rid of that, kill it. And killing GNOME software still didn't solve the problem. Saved us, I don't know, about 15, 20 megs of RAM. We're still using 990 megs of the 4 gigs of RAM. That is strange, because really I don't see anything going on. I don't have really much of anything in the sys tray. Must be a lot of background daemons running, a lot of background services that you don't see. Anyway, that's kind of high for an Xfce desktop. Again, this is a VM, so there's that to consider, but still a little higher than I would expect. Playing around with this a bit more, if I was living in this, you know what, I don't like the panel at the top. I right click on the panel and go to Panel Preferences. Let's see, General Mode, we want it horizontal. We can also do vertical. Vertical panel is nice on the left side of the screen. It doesn't make much sense on the right side of the screen, at least for Western users, because we do everything left to right. So the left hand side of the screen makes sense, but I'm going to do horizontal, but I don't want it at the top. I want it at the bottom. How do I get it to the bottom? Let's see, move. Okay, so I drag it maybe. Let's see, lock panel. No, I don't want it locked. Can I just drag it? Oh, I think I have to grab this bar over here. Yeah, that's what I do. Grab that bar, now that it's unlocked, and now let me lock it again, maybe? If I close that out, how do I lock it again? Maybe I need to right-click on this. Yep, lock panel. Okay. A little confusing. I don't use Xfce that much, but anyway. Got my panel at the bottom. I don't mind the classic kind of Windows-esque menu system. Do I get any kind of like taskbar at the bottom of the screen? So if I open up File Manager, yeah, so I have a taskbar, Task Manager. Clicking on it minimizes it. Clicking on it again unminimizes it. Yeah, very classic kind of desktop paradigm. It's that old Windows desktop paradigm that so many people are used to, and because of that, Xfce is probably one of the easiest desktop environments for Windows users coming over to Linux. This is a good place to start, and for a good Xfce distro as a first distro, Xubuntu, I think, is a great place to start with. What are my initial impressions? You know, this very quick first look, install and first look of Xubuntu 18.10 Cosmic Cuttlefish. Looks solid. Xfce is always great. It always gets an A from me. It's light, fast, looks good for the most part. I mean, in some ways it's kind of dated, but it's not that bad. And you could tweak it in a lot of different ways and actually make it look very attractive. I like Xfce. I like Ubuntu as a base, very new user friendly. I think Xubuntu 18.10 Cosmic Cuttlefish is a solid release. I think it's going to be a hit. Before I go, this show was made possible by Ansem, Carlos, David, Leor, and Rob. These are the producers of the show. These are my highest tiered patrons. Also brought to you by these fine ladies and gentlemen. You see all their names on the screen. These are the supporters of the show. Without these guys, this show would not be possible. If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting the channel. You will find me at DistroTube over on Patreon. Peace, guys.